I thought I had built the perfect life. 10 years married to Amanda, 2 beautiful children, and a home in Seattle that felt like our sanctuary. We started with nothing but dreams, and together we created something special. But lately she seemed distant, always on her phone, comparing our reality to filtered Instagram lives. When she suddenly announced she needed to find herself, I never imagined she would abandon us completely. What hurt most was her smug certainty. I will wait for her return. Before I continue, if you are watching this video, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know in the comments where you are watching from. Can a relationship ever recover from such selfish betrayal? Life in our Seattle suburb had all the markers of success. I worked as a software engineer for a tech company, providing our family with stability and comfort. Our 2-story house with the blue shutters had been our pride since we purchased it 5 years ago. Lucas, our 8-year-old son, loved the backyard swing set, while Emma, our 6-year-old daughter, had claimed the reading nook in the living room as her special spot. We had routines, traditions, and what I thought was unshakable happiness. Amanda and I met during our junior year at Washington State University. I spotted her in the campus coffee shop, studying economics with such intensity that she never noticed me watching her for 20 minutes before I found the courage to approach. We connected immediately over similar childhood experiences, both being raised by single mothers who worked multiple jobs to give us opportunities. Our early years held struggles. We graduated during the recession, shared a tiny apartment with a leaking ceiling, and survived on ramen and ambition. Amanda supported my career while completing her master's degree. We celebrated small victories, our first new car, paying off student loans, and eventually the down payment on our house. Through it all, we were a team. The first signs of trouble emerged so subtly that I dismissed them. Amanda began following luxury lifestyle accounts on social media. Hours spent scrolling through images of exotic destinations and designer wardrobes became her evening ritual. Our neighbor Jasmine, recently divorced and constantly traveling, became Amanda's new confidant. Every time Jasmine returned from Bali or Paris, Amanda grew quieter, more withdrawn. I noticed her phone permanently attached to her hand even during family movie nights. When Lucas would ask her to watch him ride his bike or Emma would bring her a drawing, Amanda would nod absently, eyes never leaving the screen. I attributed her distraction to temporary restlessness, something that would pass. For our 10th anniversary, I arranged a special dinner at the restaurant where we had celebrated our engagement. I hired a babysitter, bought flowers, and even purchased the diamond earrings she had been hinting about for months. Throughout the entire evening, Amanda seemed elsewhere. When I proposed a weekend getaway to reconnect, she responded with a non-committal shrug and changed the subject to Jasmine's upcoming trip to Portugal. Determined to reignite our connection, I became proactive. I planned date nights, encouraged Amanda to pursue photography, which she once enjoyed, and took on more household responsibilities to give her space. None of it appeared to make a difference. She joined what she called a women's empowerment group that met weekly. From the snippets, she shared their philosophy centered on personal fulfillment above all else. Words like obligations, constraints, and freedom dominated her vocabulary. Our first serious confrontation came when I discovered Amanda had opened a separate bank account without discussion. When questioned, her response chilled me. She needed financial independence because she felt suffocated by family life. The woman who once shared everything now needed escape routes. Despite my confusion and hurt, I suggested counseling. She declined, insisting this was her journey, not a relationship problem. The children noticed the tension. Lucas asked one evening after Amanda declined his invitation to play board games why Mommy never spent time with them anymore. I made excuses about her being tired from work, but his perceptive eyes told me he understood more than I acknowledged. The morning that shattered our family started like any other Tuesday. I dropped the kids at school, stopped for coffee, and returned home expecting an empty house, since Amanda normally left for her marketing job by 8. Instead, I found her in our bedroom methodically packing a large suitcase. When I asked about an unexpected business trip, her response knocked the air from my lungs. She needed 6 months to find herself, she explained with unsettling calmness. Family life had become a burden, preventing her from experiencing life fully. She had quit her job the previous week. Her detailed itinerary included a month in Europe followed by a stay in New York, with Jasmine, who had connections in the fashion industry Amanda wanted to explore. My mind raced through solutions. I suggested couples therapy, a shorter separation, even offering to take the kids somewhere for a week to give her space. She dismissed each option with increasing irritation. When I asked about Lucas and Emma, she said vague monthly visits would be sufficient. Children are adaptable, she claimed. Besides, this was her only chance to live authentically before getting too old. Her parting comment revealed the depth of her selfishness. I know you will wait for me. Where else would you go with 2 kids? The cruel certainty in her voice made it clear she viewed me as a safety net, not a partner. Someone reliable enough to abandon, but dependable enough to welcome her back whenever she finished exploring her options. That afternoon, I had to explain to our children why their mother would not be home for dinner. Emma clutched her favorite stuffed rabbit, asking repeatedly what she had done wrong to make Mommy leave. Lucas, trying to appear strong, locked himself in the bathroom, where I later heard muffled sobs. When Amanda briefly stopped by to say goodbye, she brought no gifts or comfort items, just a speech about following dreams that confused the children further. She promised to call daily. That promise, like many others, quickly evaporated. The first week passed in a blur of logistics and tears. My parents flew in from Arizona to help temporarily. My brother Thomas, who lived across town, rearranged his schedule to assist with school pickups. My employer granted emergency remote work flexibility. Between conference calls, I learned to properly style Emma's hair and decipher the complex social dynamics of Lucas's classroom to help with his suddenly deteriorating confidence. Amanda documented every moment of her freedom on social media. Check-ins from Parisian cafes, selfies at the Colosseum sunset cocktails in Barcelona. Each post received supportive comments praising her bravery with no mention of the family left behind. Our mutual friends viewed her posts with confusion but remained mostly silent, unsure how to navigate the situation. Her calls, when they came, lasted only minutes. She would enthusiastically describe her adventures, new friends, and profound realizations, without asking about the children or acknowledging my exhaustion. When Emma cried for the phone, Amanda would quickly find reasons to end the conversation. Juggling remote work with parenting consumed every waking hour. I learned to conduct meetings with a sick child on my lap, type reports after midnight, and attend virtual presentations between school events. The relentless responsibility exposed how much Amanda had disengaged even before leaving. I had been unconsciously compensating for months, allowing her gradual retreat while maintaining family stability. Financial pressure mounted when I discovered Amanda had emptied our joint savings account of $60,000 before I could separate our finances. My emergency transfer to secure the checking account barely preserved enough for mortgage payments and immediate expenses. Her justification, texted casually from Venice, stated she needed startup funds for her new life and deserved half of everything regardless of circumstances. Through a mutual friend who felt I deserved the truth, I learned Amanda had methodically planned her departure for nearly a year. She had consulted a divorce attorney about her rights, researched apartments in New York, and even taken birth control pills secretly despite our occasional conversations about having a 3rd child. The deliberate calculation behind her spontaneous awakening devastated me anew. By the 6-week mark, Lucas stopped asking when Mommy would come home. He removed the family photos from his bedside table, replacing them with books and Lego creations. His teacher reported withdrawal at school, describing him as intellectually present but emotionally absent. Emma developed separation anxiety, refusing to let me out of sight. Even to use the bathroom, convinced everyone she loved would eventually disappear. Thanksgiving arrived with forced cheerfulness. I cooked a full traditional meal, invited Thomas and his wife, and decorated the house with the children's paper turkeys. We maintained rituals, took photos, and pretended not to notice the empty chair. After the children fell asleep, I sat alone in the kitchen and finally allowed myself to break down, grieving the family that no longer existed. Christmas brought a generic Happy Holidays text message from Amanda. No gifts arrived for the children. No video call. No acknowledgement of the season's significance to Lucas and Emma. I overcompensated with presents and activities, exhausting myself to fill the void she created. The children pretended enthusiasm, but their subdued reactions revealed wounds too deep for material things to heal. 3 months after Amanda left, Emma developed a severe cough that rapidly deteriorated into pneumonia. Her pediatrician recommended immediate hospitalization when her oxygen levels dropped dangerously low. Terrified, I called Amanda while rushing to the emergency room, with Emma burning with fever in the back seat and Lucas staying with Thomas. Her response confirmed every fear about her transformation. She expressed appropriate concern but claimed she could not possibly get a flight back due to New Year festivities and important networking events. That night, while I slept in a hospital chair holding Emma's small hand amid beeping monitors and IV lines, Amanda posted photos from a glamorous New York rooftop party. Her caption about new beginnings and authentic living accompanied images of champagne flutes and midnight kisses with people we had never met. The stark contrast between our realities crystallized everything. Sitting in that sterile hospital room watching my daughter struggle for breath while her mother celebrated across the country, something inside me finally broke, then reformed stronger and clearer than before. A compassionate night nurse named Diane noticed my despair and brought coffee, sharing stories of raising her own children after her husband's death. Her quiet strength and practical kindness showed me what genuine support looked like, contrasting sharply with Amanda's performative affection. During Emma's 3-day recovery, my brother visited and asked the question that changed everything. "What are you waiting for, Malcolm?" The words penetrated my exhaustion and lingering denial. I had been operating as if in a temporary situation, maintaining Amanda's place in our home and hearts, despite overwhelming evidence that she had permanently exited our lives. I was protecting a connection that existed only in memory. The following week, once Emma recovered, I consulted an attorney specializing in family law. She outlined Amanda's legal abandonment, financial misconduct, and prospects for custody arrangements. Taking notes in her office, I experienced the first sense of control since the morning Amanda announced her departure. The path forward would be difficult, but navigable with proper guidance. I began reclaiming myself through systematic steps. Weekly therapy sessions helped process anger and betrayal, while developing coping strategies for single parenthood. A support group for solo parents provided practical advice and normalizing perspectives. Most importantly, I stopped presenting Amanda's absence to the children as temporary. With age-appropriate honesty, I explained that sometimes adults make choices that hurt others, and that her decisions reflected her limitations, not their worthiness. Work became an unexpected source of stability. My manager, impressed by my dedication despite personal chaos, recommended me for a team lead position with better compensation and more flexible hours. The promotion not only eased financial pressure, but restored professional confidence that Amanda's rejection had damaged. New routines emerged that no longer included space for Amanda's eventual return. The children and I established Friday movie nights, Sunday morning pancakes, and daily outdoor time regardless of weather. We redecorated the living room, rearranged furniture, and created a wall of family photos that celebrated our new configuration rather than highlighting what was missing. The definitive moment arrived through Amanda's own carelessness. 6 months into her journey, she posted photos with a new boyfriend, an aspiring DJ 10 years her junior, with captions about soulmates and finally finding true connection. Friends forwarded the images concerned about my reaction. Instead of pain, I felt only confirmation and clarity. I instructed my attorney to file for divorce, immediately requesting full custody based on abandonment. When Amanda received the divorce papers 3 days later, her shocked call revealed her true expectations. "You were supposed to wait for me," she shouted, outrage, replacing the spiritual serenity she had cultivated online. Her entitlement confirmed every decision I had made. The woman who walked away from her family believing we would remain in suspended animation until she deigned to return could not comprehend consequences applying to her choices. She booked an emergency flight home, texting demands about picking her up from the airport. Instead, following legal advice, I had changed the locks after providing proper notice through attorneys. She arrived at our former home, to find herself rightfully locked out of the life she had discarded. Through the front window, I watched her performance of distress tears, precisely timed with attempts to photograph the situation for social media sympathy. For 2 weeks, she vacillated between manipulation tactics. Tearful apologies about temporary insanity gave way to accusations that I was punishing her for self-discovery. Promises of renewed family commitment alternated with threats about taking the children. I maintained silence, directing all communication through legal channels, focusing instead on protecting Lucas and Emma from her erratic reappearance. The court proceedings unfolded with unexpected efficiency. The judge, reviewing evidence of Amanda's abandonment, financial misconduct, and minimal contact with the children, granted me primary custody. Amanda received supervised visitation rights twice monthly, which she attended sporadically before finding reasons to cancel. Each missed visit reinforced to the children that my consistency, not her occasional presence, represented stability. Building our new life required intentional effort. I transformed our home environment to emphasize security and joy. The children selected new bedroom colors and helped rearrange common spaces. We adopted a rescue dog named Cooper, who quickly became central to our healing. His uncomplicated affection, teaching lessons about loyalty that words could not convey. Amanda's carefully constructed new life collapsed with remarkable speed. Her European photos and New York adventures had portrayed a woman triumphantly self-actualized through courage and authenticity. Reality proved less Instagram-worthy. Her boyfriend departed when her funds dwindled. Fashion industry connections evaporated once her novelty value diminished. Former supporters grew weary of dramatic posts and constant reinventions. Even her parents, initially sympathetic to her claims of unfulfillment, eventually recognized the damage she had inflicted. They began visiting us directly, rebuilding relationships with their grandchildren while maintaining uncomfortable distance from their daughter. Her father confided during one visit that Amanda had always fled when situations required genuine work, abandoning college programs, friendships, and jobs whenever accountability outweighed freedom. My promotion to team lead brought unexpected benefits beyond financial stability. The position allowed 3 work-from-home days, weekly, eliminating childcare struggles. My team respected family boundaries, scheduling around school events, and understanding occasional background noise during virtual meetings. Professional success proved family commitment, and career advancement could coexist with proper prioritization. The children gradually healed through consistency and professional support. Lucas joined a youth robotics club where shared interests created friendships without family structure assumptions. Emma's art therapy sessions transformed her separation anxiety into creative expression, her drawings evolving from broken families to increasingly hopeful scenes. Both children maintained academic performance despite emotional challenges, their resilience humbling and inspiring me daily. A supportive community formed organically around us. School parents organized meal trains during Emma's illness. Neighbors invited Lucas for playdates and offered emergency childcare. Thomas and his wife included us in weekly family dinners that provided adult conversation and cousin relationships the children treasured. These connections demonstrated that family extends beyond biological bonds. When Amanda's financial situation deteriorated after a year of unemployment and excessive spending, she attempted reconciliation through material gestures. She would appear unannounced with expensive gifts, creating momentary excitement quickly followed by emotional confusion for the children. I established firm boundaries. Visits required advance. Notice gifts needed approval. And consistency mattered more than grandeur. Her inability to maintain even these basic parameters gradually reduced her influence in our lives. 18 months after Amanda's departure, I cautiously accepted coffee with Sarah, a kindergarten teacher at Emma's school. Our conversation flowed naturally around children education, philosophy, and the challenges of setting healthy boundaries. When I mentioned my single-parent status, she shared her experience raising a nephew after her sister's illness. Her understanding that family obligations represent privilege rather than burden refreshed my perspective on relationship potential. Amanda's reaction to learning about Sarah revealed her continued self-centered worldview. She demanded details during a rare phone call with Lucas, then sent accusatory messages about moving on inappropriately. The woman, who had publicly documented relationships with multiple partners since leaving, felt entitled to approval rights over my personal life. Her hypocrisy confirmed how completely our paths had diverged. The most powerful moment in my journey arrived unexpectedly. At a parent-teacher conference, Emma's teacher commented on her remarkable emotional intelligence, describing how she had comforted a classmate whose parents were separating. Emma had apparently said sometimes when sad things happen, they make room for different good things. Hearing my 6-year-old daughter transform her pain into wisdom for others crystallized my own healing. We had not merely survived abandonment but found strength through it. 2 years after that Tuesday morning when Amanda packed her suitcase, our lives bear little resemblance to what existed before. The initial devastation created space for authenticity and connection that our marriage had actually lacked for years. I learned to distinguish between people who view family as blessing versus burden, commitment as opportunity versus constraint, and love as daily choice versus fleeting emotion. The most profound lesson emerged gradually: losing someone who does not truly value you creates opportunity for genuine happiness. Amanda's abandonment, while initially shattering, ultimately revealed the difference between the family we pretended to be and the family we could actually become. Sometimes the worst moments lead to necessary endings that permit authentic new beginnings. For anyone experiencing abandonment, remember that rebuilding requires both boundary setting and openness to unexpected joy. The path forward never follows anticipated patterns but creates something entirely new. The strength you discover was always within you, waiting for circumstances that required its emergence. If my story resonated with you, please share your thoughts in the comments below. Have you ever had to rebuild after someone walked away? What helped you find strength? When you felt completely alone, your experiences might help others feeling lost right now. And if you found value in this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might need to hear that, after abandonment, not just survival but genuine thriving remains possible. Thank you for listening, and remember that your worth never depends on someone else's ability to recognize it.